Alrighty then. Probably should put my headphones on. Hi, it's live stream time, everybody. How you doing? It's dark, I know. Let's go to the FaceTime cam. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome to the Starshipwright live stream, or not so live stream if you're watching it afterwards, watching it after the day. Today is Thursday, April 9th, right? 4/9, yep, that's it, April 9th, 2020. And today we will be finishing this month's spaceship, the April spaceship for my spaceship club. And then I have no idea what we're going to do after that, because it's been a difficult week and I haven't had that much chance to prepare for what we're doing. But we're still going to do it anyway, because that's just how we do things around here. We don't necessarily have to be ready to do things before we just do them. So, okay. I'm trying to practice. We'll cut that out. I'm trying to practice being a better video presenter, which means I need to do these politician type hand movements to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. And make no mistake, we're going to make spaceships. Yeah, I know. I'm just being a goofball because I can be a goofball and I'm being a goofball. I just ordered a green screen, so you're not going to see this behind me once I get that. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get here because, because the world is, on fire. So once I get that, I'm going to put some cool stuff in the background. I have a billion paintings, so, and I'm probably going to make a 3D model of the Starshipwright shipyard, imaginary one, and put that behind me. So you'll be able to see out my window and spaceships will go flying by. That's going to be fun, right? Okay. Meanwhile, let us go back to the brush of Z, the Z of brush. Right, and I'm going to call up my ZBrush Plus Logitech here. Yeah, I still need to work on my background graphics and stuff, so I will be doing that. And let's transition over here. So last week, when we left off, we were doing this marvelous, gigantic, incredible dropship thingy, which we are nearly done with. I'm just doing panel lines and details today, so we'll get back to that in just a moment once I've got my brain sort of semi together. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty cool. So yeah, without further ado, need to go back here and get my chisel brush. BCH is the chisel brush, and it should be set to the proper size at this point, so we'll test that out in just a second. I'm just going to look for a moment at these things and see what we've got going on. Let's see, do we have our symmetry on? Symmetry is on, excellent. So let's zoom in. And as you can see, this looks a little rough, but it's not going to be when it's done, or at least it's not going to be noticeable when it's done as a 3D print, because the 3D printer resolution just isn't high enough to register that sort of visual noise. In fact, it's the 3D printer software has a setting where it will filter out anything smaller than a certain size, and it'll just ignore it completely. So so we do that, and let's do that. Okay, that's kind of grungy, but I'm gonna let it slide. Let's move this up to there, and we will go to here. And let's do one here, and then we'll flip it over to the corner. Oop, can't see it, so do it again. Undo, pull, and I'm holding down Shift, and then you let go of Shift to make it pop forward like that on the ZBrush. This is ZBrush. I should say this is ZBrush 2019. I have downloaded 2020. I have not installed it yet. You know, I usually wait a little bit before I install the new version of whatever. I've been an Apple guy for a long time, so I know to wait 6 months before grabbing the OS or any update to the OS. So, and I've been doing that, you know, with every OS, with Windows, with Apple. And just wait a couple of months, at least 3 months, before you buy into whatever they're trying to foist on you lately. As much of an Apple fan as I am, they foist. That's what they do. That's kind of their thing. They did it like for instance with that U2 record that was released straight to iTunes, Apple Store, and you know, it just showed up in everybody's library one day, and not everybody was happy about that. There was I remember there being something of a kerfuffle. All right. So yeah, we're winding down here. We don't really have that much more to go. So I'm gonna you know, try to do this quickly, because we need to get to, I don't know what the heck we're gonna get to next. I have no idea. That is a weird thing. So we're gonna mark that with a panel line right to there. And yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay, we'll go with that. And we need one here. And I think I'm happy with that, I think. So let's pull that one down. Let's pull this one back. It's really cool that the chisel brush will really work at any angle for you. You don't need to get crazy trying to be looking at it from the right angle and everything. You can turn to the side and make whatever thing you want. All right, so now let's do one that comes from here. Ooh, too close. Let's do one that comes from here next to the door, and then it's going to go this way. And here we go. Excellent. I think I should make a line down the edge of this, because this is the door, so it's going to have a seam around it. It's going to have a part line. Let's put that there, and then pull that across, and there, that's perfect. Isn't that nice? Yeah, I'm looking. I'm trying to see stuff. All right, I don't think there's anything here that we can't... Oop, there's a problem. What's this? There's a little dot there. Got to get rid of that. The bottom we're not going to... Well, okay, the bottom we are going to put thruster ports on the bottom, so we'll look at that in a second. And we need to do some things on the back here. Now I'm going to do a couple of different things here. Obviously I'm going to put some panel lines on here. That's the first thing we got to do. And I will just pull this out here. And we will pull this across to there. And pull it down there. I'm actually going to run it under because it can. And we will close that. And we will pull this down here. And another one to there. Excuse me, my voice is a little rough today. No, I do not have the crazy virus of doom. It's just a rough throat. Because that's how it works. Oops. Now, for those who were commenting on it, I'm still working on the audio quality thing. I'm going to, I got to pull a bunch of stuff out of mothballs basically to do that. I have really good mics and I have a really good audio interface. So I'm going to plug that all into this. That's going to take a few hours to get that set up. So I have time this week. I'll have a nicer mic and better noise reduction. I'll be using really good stuff to make that happen. My former career as a rock star left me with a whole lot of musical equipment that right now is gathering dust. So I will use it to our advantage as soon as I have the chance. And let's see. Let's do this, and this, and this, and straight across. Very nice. The symmetry really helps. Hello, everybody. I see that people are actually here. Oh, hi, Mark. How you doing? Yeah, is the audio still crappy? I know there's a noise floor that I cannot currently get rid of. Mark asks, have you tried modeling in VR before? It's fun. Yes, I have. I had the opportunity to do that. Geez, it was quite a while ago. Frank from Thingergy, where I worked briefly, invited me over to play with it. So I was doing the Google Tilt Brush on their VR system. Sadly, since I use a Macintosh and that's my primary thing, the Apple community has been pretty far behind with the VR stuff. So unfortunately, I don't have a VR rig. I would have to build one, and that would mean I'd have to spend money on at least on computer parts or on an entire computer, and I don't have it. It's just not going to happen in the foreseeable future. Who knows what'll go on. Right. Okay. Mark says the audio is not so bad. Yeah, I'm using my headphone mic. I've got the noise gate on. It's a lot better than having my just using the built-in mic on my Mac, but I have some really good audio stuff that I will eventually be able to put into play here, and I'll be able to make things a lot better audio-wise. So we'll go from there. It's actually not as noisy in my office as this thing makes it seem. I've got a compressor on it, and I need to do some tweaking, but my office is quieter than you think. So, or quieter than it feels anyway. Anyway, so back to the spaceship here. It's good to see you, Mark. If you don't know, you probably don't know Mark as well as I do. I used to work with Mark at Blind Squirrel Games, and I think he's still there, right, Mark? You're still there? Excellent programmer, software engineer deluxe. That's something I probably should have been, but you know, I had wanted to be a rock star too much to go to college for that stuff. Besides, I actually did take a comp sci class when I was at Cornell. I was there for 1 year. That's a whole other story. We'll tell that some other time. But and the comp sci professor he's one of those guys that just kind of sits there and talks like this. Today we will be learning about the quicksort algorithm. The quicksort algorithm is a way to sort a large number of data in a way that will put it all in an order that you determine via a quicksort, blah, blah, blah. That was the class I always fell asleep in, so of course I failed it. And, you know, that's how it works. Let's pull that to there. You can see, I hope you can see, there's this little red line sticking out of here. That is the lazy mouse, which is built into ZBrush, which is a very fine thing to build into ZBrush. They probably didn't license it from our pal Lazy Nizumi, who I think created it in the whole, created that algorithm in the first place, this lazy mouse thing. We are Twitter friends with Lazy Nizumi. And yeah, close enough for government work. I don't really need to be super precise with any of this stuff, but I tend to be just because I'm that kind of guy. I'm one of the most right-brained artists you'll ever meet. I probably should have been an engineer or something, but I have too much fun doing this. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Zoop. Okay, Dimitri, dude, how you doing, man? Dimitri, Dim is also one of my former colleagues. He's in the chat at Blind Squirrel. I don't know where he's at now, Dim. Dim, where are you at now? Any place cool? Dimitri is a rocker, a roller, a way out of controller, and an excellent quality assurance engineer in the gaming space. So many cool folks I used to work with at Blind Squirrel, and even at the other place I worked at, 7 Studios. Still friends with a lot of the people that I've worked with at these places, which is nice. I've been kind of I haven't been very communicative with my friends lately. Okay. Dimitri's at NCSoft. Very good. Excellent. I'm glad you're working, buddy. Sucks to not work, so I'm glad you're working. Let's do that. And I'm actually going to try to freehand this bad boy. Yeah, way to go, Lazy Mouse. Thank you. Lazy Mouse helped me freehand that line. And, geez, what else is going on? I don't even know. Yeah. Okay, Mark's an artist at heart. Well, you know, don't let being a software engineer stop you from being an artist. I mean, yeah, I know there's not a lot of time. You know, a lot of what I have to do most of the time stops me from being an artist. And okay, I'm gonna pull another one out right there. I find myself these days doing a lot of panel lines as radiating from a point, sort of like these two are kind of coming from a point in the distance and spreading out. Which is an unusual configuration for panel lines, to be sure. Also, like what I'm doing here, this is all large panel lines. I'm going to be doing a bunch of small ones too. I'm not going to spend a lot of time thinking about those, though. I'm just going to kind of lay them down. Let's see. What do we need here? Let's do this. And then this. connect those things. Okay, I think that works. Let's do this to just fill that bit. Software itself is a form of art. Mark says he is completely correct. Software is an art because I know they call it computer science, but there's a lot of gray area in there as far as the science goes on software. There's a very human element to software in that people are the ones who create the programming languages, and therefore the programming languages have all the flaws that people have. They are tricky. Capricious, I think, is probably the best word, because you never know what's going to work or not, you know? You never know if this, is this code going to work? I don't know. It might work by itself. Is it going to work in the context of the greater program? Who knows? Only one way to find out. Submit it and pray it doesn't pray it doesn't break the build. Because if it breaks the build, you're going to get derpy. Remember Derpy? You guys know Derpy. Derpy's probably still floating around there, huh, Mark? Derpy was a My Little Pony backpack that had its eyes sewed on incorrectly, and if you break the build at Blind Squirrel Games, Derpy gets hung on the back of your chair. There's a number of tricks like this in the software business where you mess it up, you get there are various sacrifices and punishments that are made. Okay, I'm going to turn off symmetry for a second, and I'm going to pull this down to there. I miss Derpy, actually. Derpy was fun. I earned Derpy once. I broke a build once, even though I'm an artist. It is a mark of distinction. A mark of eye-stinction. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was that I did that broke the build, but I had Derpy for a couple of days on my chair. Pretty funny. All right, let's see. Okay, if you want a beautiful programming language, I suggest Lua. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the scripting languages are like that. You can actually tell whether the code is good by how it's formatted. If the code is formatted properly, it's probably going to work fine. Okay. I started out so long ago in computers that that we had to learn to program to do anything we wanted to do. So, basic, but the basic language. So wasn't like we were any kind of rock star programmers back in high school, but there just wasn't that much software out there to do things that we wanted to try to do, so we had to write it ourselves. And that was fun. Of course, the first thing we did was write video games. The great thing about that was our computer teacher, who was our math teacher in high school, Mr. Rubin. I hope he's out there doing fine still. A good guy. I liked him a lot. Excellent math teacher, and really, put his back into his work. So, thank you, Mr. Rubin. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, he got us 3 TRS-80s, and if I recall correctly, 1 Apple II, but that was very late in the game. So, but he gave us extra credit for writing our own stuff, so we would write our own programs, and so we all got A+, because we all wrote video games. I guess I should have turned that into a career, huh? I actually wound up hanging out with some dudes that. I wound up hanging out with some dudes, a friend of my cousin's, friend of friends, is a guy named Ken Demarest, who was one of the lead programmers on the original Wing Commander. I still talk with him every once in a while, but yeah, that would have been kind of good to work on, don't you think? Well. Okay, so we've got our lines here. Very nice. Let's go and make some smaller panel lines. So to do that, we have to call up the size here. I'm going to take this down to 6. It's going to be a little less deep, and it's going to allow us to make some smaller, thinner panel lines, which will be okay for what we're doing. Don't mind me. I've only got 1 cup of coffee in me today. Yeah, Wing Commander, man, we all loved that game, didn't we? That was like the game everybody played before X-Wing and TIE Fighter came out, I think. Oop. Not that one. Let's do, sorry. Let's do this and that and that to there. Okay. Lua is almost militantly simple. Yeah, I mean, you know, I know it's a game. I don't know that much about it, but I know it's a scripting language that is used in many games. And I hear it's worthy. That's kind of all I know. And straight down. And straight across. This brush will cool in a cool fashion. It actually goes around corners. Like I can't really see that, but it goes around corners. So you can make a nice straight line going around a corner. And that is useful for what? For making your panel lines work. Okay. I'm not going to be getting too crazy with these because I don't want to spend the entire time noodling on this. Not that I shouldn't spend the entire time noodling on this because I don't really have anything else prepared for today. But you know, we just wing it around here. And if I stopped too long to think about what I was doing before I did it, I probably wouldn't do anything. It's the best way to learn how to do things is to do things. Just do it. Don't think. Just make it happen. All right. Let's add an actual line here all the way across. Nice part line for that. Okay. Let's make another part line for this here. Too far. Pull out holding shift. There we go. That's better. I hit a nicer line of poly edges there. This is the back. Back can do this and that. And let's do this. Not that far. Let's do this. I'll just pull it. There we go. It's nice that the lazy mouse lets you freehand. You can still freehand really straight lines with the lazy mouse. It's actually pretty awesome. And pull that to there and straight across. No, not straight across because that's not straight. There we go. Freehanded it. Zoom 3D. And okay. I'm trying to make sure that I don't mumble, that I enunciate my words clearly. It takes a lot of practice. It's hard enough doing ZBrush while I'm doing this, but it takes a lot of practice to be a presenter, and we are still in the very early days of this live streaming thing. I plan to do a lot more of it I'm going to be doing it every Thursday. Oh, that reminds me, I need to. I may not be able to do this at this time next week or any other week really, because it turns out my kids are having their Zoom online school classes right at the same time that I'm doing this. Like my older son has a Zoom meeting every week, every day actually, I think at 9 a.m. our time, which is the same time that I do this. So what happens is, and this was evident on the last stream, the bandwidth gets choked and I drop frames and lose whole chunks of the thing. So I'm probably gonna have to change the time to like 10 or something. I'm not sure how long his class runs, so I'll let you know as soon as I know what's going to happen there. There is definitely going to be. I'm definitely going to have to move it because I want you guys to actually see things, and you will not if I don't. Or it'll break up the stream pretty badly. I have on previous streams I had 0 frame drops and a clear BPS the whole time, like 1600 kilobits per second or whatever. And then, unfortunately, last week's was dropped 20% of the frames, and the bandwidth got choked down to half a couple of times. So we're going to have to change the time of this live stream. I will advise you as to when that will occur. No, that was bad. Okay, so, right, I am doing small lines, so small lines can go like this. You can see that I'm doing this asymmetrically. All right, actually, you know what? Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that little punch there. I'm going to switch to my BPL planar brush, and I'm going to make the brush smaller because that's too big. Oop, that's too small. It is not affecting anything. Let's try this. There we go. Now it's coming up. Okay, Alt. Let's do that, and Option, and it's still not working. Oh, ZBrush, why must you be so temperamental? And we'll smooth that, and there it goes. It's gone. Zoom 3D. All right. Well, as always, if you have any questions or comments or anything you want to say, just pop up in the chat. Keep it clean, guys, or mostly clean. I'm really glad to see Dim and Mark here. Mark is one of our patrons. I believe he has received a few spaceships already. Back to my. Oh, I didn't have the symmetry on when I cleaned that up. All right, well, no worries. I'll figure it out. One of the cool things about ZBrush is most of the time, if something's off, you can just go back and fix it. You can make an hour's worth of mistakes and still go back and fix it. So, doop. Yeah, I miss all you guys. I do miss almost everyone that I worked with at Blind Squirrel. Especially our UI team. We had a really good UI team, and everybody was really cool. And we had just so many great software guys, man. So many great coders, like people who would blow my mind every time they'd write something. And I'd be like, oh my god, that is the best. Didn't even know you could do that. Oops, saving project file in progress. I'm one of those artists that can actually speak programmer, which is kind of rare. But I've found it very helpful, especially doing UI, to be able to talk to people. who are software engineers, and some of them brilliant software engineers, highly educated, about the things we were doing in the user interface. So, look at that. Having symmetry on caused a problem, but it's not a big problem because you'll never frickin' see that. All right. I think I'm happy with the small stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I want to just, I don't want to leave this surface untouched. Now, all these surfaces wind up getting textured pretty heavily by the 3D printer because, you know, it's got layers. Okay, so there's that. I'm happy with that. Let's do some more surface details. And for this, I think I'm going to turn off the symmetry. Yes. Let's turn off symmetry. I'm going to go to IMM. B, I. I'm going to do IMM. Where's that? Where's my IMM model kit? I think that's the one that I like, by the marvelous Mr. Joseph Trust at Pixelogic. Pixelogic right here in Los Angeles. In fact, right there in the right there at Gnomon, at the Gnomon School, same place. All right, we've got some sort of venerable hatches here. Let's make a hatch. All right, very nice. Let's move that over and forward a tad. Okay, quit, and I'm going to once again split my masked points. Right, and I'm going to do some merging here. Hold on, merge down. And should I do that with the teeth too? Not undoable. Yeah, I know it's not undoable. Bite me, okay? And let's put the teeth on there too. Let's put that down one and again merge down. Okay. So now these are all the positives, all the things that are sticking out of the ship. I have to come up here. I'm going to do auto groups. I'm going to command click that one. Oop. Click X, and let's move that down a little bit. I'm also going to scale it down a little bit. Q, okay, zoom 3D, go out. So there's a detail. A lot of cool details in this thing here. All kinds of doodads and pipes and grills and things. In fact, this this hexagon thing was used in the we did a statue of one of the things we did when I was at Thingergy. The last thing really I did at Thingergy was Cletus from Fox Sports, the football guy that you see on the NFL, Fox NFL. We did a life-size statue of him, and I found that a lot of the details on that model were from this IMM brush, especially that hexagon thing. So that was interesting. Okay, vents. I want vents. Let's make this symmetrical and put it there. Notice how it kind of clicks straight to the thing. It is also masked, so I can do this and push it down in just a little bit and quit. And that should work for that. Let's put one of these symmetrically here. And put a bigger one symmetrically here. Let's turn that a little bit. and move it in a little bit, and let's zoom. Gonna have to push that inwards and shrink down a tiny bit because that's gonna have to bridge when it prints. Okay, Q, do that, and let's do auto groups. Can't see that, but what it's doing is grouping each individual chunk. Wow, okay, that's odd. All right, so let's do that and group and zoom and kind of make those disappear. I can. And I just want to push that in a little bit. Let's go to center. And I need to orient this in a way that's going to work for me. So I need to hit Alt and do that and all that. I'm just moving the gizmo here. When you hold down Alt, you can move the gizmo in any way you want. And let's shrink that down a bit. Okay, quit. And let's see, where's another good place for this? Oh yeah, let's, we've got this big circle here. Let's fill it with something interesting. Let's see. Kind of like that. So let's put that right in the middle of there. And shrink it in. I'm actually going to do that and push it inside. Zoom 3D, and then I want to get something else to put on there. I'm actually going to rotate this, and I'm going to shrink it that way. No. Yeah, there, that's good. Okay, and now back to, let's find something rectangular to stick on there. I like this panel, so we're going to stick that there. And I'm going to scale it up a little and push it up a little so it's off center. And let's turn off the polyframe and see what we got. Zoom 3D. Yep, that's pretty much where it's supposed to be. Zoom 3D. All right. Anybody got questions? I don't see any. Let's turn off the symmetricalness and get another circular thing here. Now let's use that again and just put it right there. And push it in a tiny bit. Quit. I'll just leave that as is. And we'll come over here and we'll do a different one. Something different. What's different? Yeah, we got the pipes and stuff. And we got this toilet seat cover. Let's try that. Put that over here. Just like that. That's all we need. And we might add another one of those back here. And rotate it around, and there we go. And also, let's see, have anything here that's cool that I want to use? No, so let's go to B. That calls up your brushes. I, that's the first letter, IMM brushes. IMM tune, clothing, curve, Boolean, basic, army curve, IMM gun, industrial parts. I'm not going to do industrial parts. I'm on model kit right now. Let's see, machine parts. Anything in there that I want? Oh yeah, there we go. That's cool. Some of these things are pretty cool. There we go. I like that flywheel. Oh, the heat transfer is awesome too. Tech port. Yeah, there were a bunch of these on. There were a bunch of these tech port on Cleus as well. So let's see. I want to put that dead center. That's probably not going to work there. Let's put this one offset slightly. Here, make it big. Make it big. Let's put tech port here. No, let's put the tech port up. No, that's not going to work either, because that's underneath. So let's see. Does this have any rectangular bits? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, BI. Let's try army curve and see what we get there. Tank tread, hose, nah, nothing there. BI and IMM spaceship. There might be some cool stuff here. I don't usually use IMM spaceship because it's kind of obvious, you know, that I'm doing spaceships. I don't like that. There's so much cool stuff here that Mr. Drost has made for us. Thank you, Joseph. You are very appreciated for this stuff, and I really hope they pay you very, very, very well. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything I like here. There's like some greebles and gun turrets and things. I wonder if the universal greeble is in here somewhere. Probably. All kinds of interesting rectangular things. Ah, here we go. That's what I want. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Let's bring that over like this. And it's not where I want it or how I want it, but let's tweak this a little bit to make that a side piece there. Okay, quit. All right, now I think I'm going to have to actually add a little bit of structure inside there. I'm going to unselect all of that. So that's our little greeble details. I'm not going to spin for... Oh, wait, what the hell's going on? Oh, okay, there we go. Whew. Thought I lost you there. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to add I'm going to insert a cylinder 3D, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to shrink it down only in a couple directions there. Bring it up to about here and push it out the back a little bit. Okay. I think that will probably work. That is going to cause some undercut. What ought I do about that? Let's do this. Let us go to the extender. This is a really cool thing. Extender lets you extend an object like this in a direction, and now I'm gonna rotate it around like that. That will take care of our undercut pretty T conclusively, I should think. Yes, very nice. And I'm going to crease and subdivide and quit that. And now we have that thing there. So I can grab this and Shift D and let's do that again. Let's split the mask points and then Shift D. There we go. R to scale. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Rotate it upwards. That undercut will not do, so we'll have to fix that, but let's make it skinnier. And we'll pull it down a bit. Make it taller. Let's do that. And bring it down to there. And that should actually work. Let's turn it a little more this way. I want it to be more straight up and down. Pull it up to there. Mirror and weld X. Very nice. Very nice. And quit. Yep, I like that. That's pretty cool. Let's go back to this one. And we're going to, I need to see the polyframe. Zoom in. Let's, Z-modeler, let's insert, Shift D, right? Command Z, we're going to turn on symmetry and Shift D, Command Z, Command Shift Z, and let's do that, and we're going to Q mesh poly loop, push that in slightly. Oops, did it push in slightly? It did not. Let's Q mesh the poly loop. Hey, Kevin Toft, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Kevin is OG Starshipwright. He really kind of is. Vents and pipes, vents and pipes. That's right, vents and pipes. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, I overlaid a couple. Well, that's okay. I can just go, I can tap on that. I can select that, get rid of it, and delete hidden. Delete hidden. I can select that one and get rid of it and delete hidden because I like that better. Hopefully I didn't delete anything else. Good. Doesn't look like I did. Excellent. All right, now we come here again. We're going to crease and we're going to subdivide it. Dynamic subdivision. Very nice. I'm going to insert another cube. Insert cube 3D. Going to initialize it down to a a resolution 1 cube. I'm going to put it up here and push it out. Make it real skinny. And tilt it that way pretty severely. Bring it up, push it in, and scale it out. Now that may or may not print right. Don't really care that much, but what I can do is no, I'm not going to tilt it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quit. I'm going to zoom 3D. I'm going to grab my Z-modeler brush and I am going to bevel that edge. Bevel edge loop partial, single row, blah, 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 blah. Will it work? It is not working. Let's go to polyframe. Bevel edge loop partial does not work. We'll try edge loop complete and see what happens. There's so much like trial and error in ZBrush, but it's so quick at doing this stuff. There we go. That's what I want. That's what I want. So it'll print okay because that's a better angle. Good enough. And with this, my friends, I believe, no, not quite. I want to go here. I want to go back to my BI spaceship. Where's that? BI spaceship. There we go. I want to go back to that, and I want to just do this. I want to add a thingy there. And I want to add it symmetrically, so I'm going to add it like that. I know that looks a little weird. I'm going to, again, split mask points, and I'm going to do a deformer here because I want to change the shape of this. I'll come to there and click away, and now I'm going to narrow it and bring it down like that. Q 3D. Okay, and back to that and tilt it this way and push it in, scale it and move it up. And I think that's going to do it for us. Wonder if I should do that. No, that's better. Okay, zoom 3D. Okay, I think we're done, guys. Do you think we're done, guys? What do you think of this thing? You know what? I think it probably needs like a gun port or something. I don't know if I can actually do that, though. No, I think this is going to be too small, because remember, this is only 60 millimeters across. All right. I'm happy with that. It's 2 minutes to 10, so we're halfway through this. So let me do this. We have all these things sitting here. I haven't labeled them. I don't know what's going on with any of them. We're gonna have to, I could merge it all down and I could merge it all down and Dynamesh it. So it would be like that. It would be that high res. Or I can Boolean this whole thing together. I think it would be a better idea to merge them all down and, oh, right, there's one more thing I got to do. I forgot to do this. We need the thruster ports on the bottom. And that is, I'm going to use a cube for that. So let's put that there. Hi, you mentioned adding engine ports at the bottom. Yes. I have not added the engines. AE35 unit, thrush pipes. You guys are funny. I used to have a cherry bomb on my Chevelle, or 2 cherry bombs on my Chevelle. It was headers and a pair of cherry bombs, and that was very, very loud. Nobody liked me when I drove by. Big, loud, rumbly car. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to insert. I want to insert again a cube 3D, and let's initialize it. I'm going to initialize it to a resolution 2 Q cube. Excuse me, Q cube. Q cube. Q cube. And let's pull this over here. And I'm going to shrink it down in a couple of ways. I'm going to shrink that like that. I'm actually going to move that outwards a bit. And quit. And let's shrink the top to bevel that in, and let's shrink the whole thing vertically, and let us make this into a live Boolean subtractor by clicking that. There we go. There's our thruster port. I shrank the top down too much. So I'm going to have to do some modifications. So let's move it in to there. That's cool. Quit. And come to here and select just that part. Ooh, I don't know if I did select that part. Let's go transparent for a second so I can see where I am. We're going to move this up, and we are going to stretch it out a little bit and turn off transparent, and there we go. There we have it. So I need to make sure that's down a little. Oop. Quit. Make sure this is poking all the way through the bottom. Quit. And that's it. I don't want to get any fancier than that with the thruster ports. Hal wants the AE35 unit. Glass packs and a Holly carb. Yep. That's what I had. I actually had, what was on my Chevelle? It was a Holly 1050. Holly 1050 on a 396 with headers and a pair of cherry bombs. You know what? I don't have any pictures of that Chevelle, and it wasn't pretty. It was half rusted out as it was, but the engine was a monster. My Camaro was much nicer. The Chevelle was when I was in high school, and I think we're done. I think we are complete. Oh, except we have to do this, Mirror and Wild X. Ha! There we go. I'm not putting on an AE35 unit, Kevin. I'm sorry. It's really hard to 3D print the AE35 unit because it's got that giant frickin' dish antenna on it. Okay, so there we go. That's what we got. And now I do actually have to Boolean this together. So let's save, because Booleaning has its many treacherous problems that it can blow up and crash your machine. So now I have saved it, and I will do make Boolean mesh with DS dynamic subdivision on it, so I don't have to lock all my dynamic guys. Lock all my guys with dynamic subdivisions together. This should work. I mean, even though it's a very highly attached U-mesh. Yeah, is this it? Yep, there it is. It's done. It union meshed it fine. Here's polyfill. So that's it. This is what I will be printing. Now I'm going to decimation master this thing, because that's, let's see, how many polys is that? That is 800,000 polys. I don't need 800,000 polys for this. Let us duplicate. And if you're not familiar with Decimation Master is a thing that lets you take our super high poly thing and zap it down to much lower poly. So we're going to pre-process current. That's going to take a while with 800,000 polys. Oh, I'm tired. I was up a little bit late last night working on the ships for Howard, these things. You may recall. I am now, I've only got 47 left to mold and cast of the white part. So, and still pre-processing. 99.6. I'm not sure that Howard is going to be selling these separately from the Kickstarter, but if he is, I will let you know. I won't be selling them myself. This is somebody else's IP here, so We are pre-computed, and now we're going to decimate to 20% and see if it looks okay. What I am going to do, I'm going to turn off the polyframe while I do this, because I want to be able to see if anything gets real ugly. Oop, no, I don't need to do that. Escape, escape. Don't need to pre-process it. Oh, shoot. It's going to pre-process it again anyway. I clicked the wrong button. Sorry, guys. Oh, dear. Mark is writing in Japanese, and my katakana is very rusty. Very rusty. So I can't read that anymore. I need to get back on that. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go the way we go. Okay. It's almost done. It is reordering and writing file to disk. You probably can't read that, but there we go. Okay, so decimate current. Hit decimation. And when it's done, is it done? Can't tell. Yes, it is done. I will look to see if any of the details got weird. And they did not, so let's look at the polyframe. Yeah, see, a lot fewer. There are 300,000 polys, which is still kind of a lot for my slicer, but I think it'll work okay. So we will turn off the polyframe. We will go to 3D Print Hub. We will update the size ratios. And it is not correct. So we're going to make it 97.53 by 59.4. And that is not correct. So we're going to go to Scale Master and fix this. Scale Master. Sliders to subtool size. Well, that's wrong. Let's see. So it needs to be X 62 tab millimeters by 37 by 33. That should work. Actually, let's just make that 60 straight up. And we're not going to resize this. We do need to resize all subtools, so let's do that. Beep bop boop. This is going to be ugly. Okutsare-sama deshita. Okutsares. Otsukare-sama. Otsukare-sama deshita. Otsukare-sama. So, I forget who that is. Otsukare-sama. Who's Otsukare-sama? The highly respected Otsukara. Okay, are we resized? Zoom 3D. Okay, let's go back to the decimation master and update our size ratio. It is 60 by 36.55 by 32.69 millimeters. Now we export to STL. This is going to be 2020-04 April 01 STL. Yup, save that. How long? Yeah, I know, right? Oh, it means I'm tired. Otsukara deshita. That's right. Otsukara-sama. I am the tired person. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. My Japanese has really gone south because I never use it anymore. So I don't remember it. I can't read it anymore. I never could really read it very well, and I only knew some phrases. All right, so that's our STL. I'm going to save the project again, and then we will go opening up. Right, okay, very cool. Good work. Okay, you are tired because you did good work. Excellent. All right, well, I'm going to hide that. You're still going to see it because I'm going to open Simplify 3D. I'm going to change that to the app plus Logitech. It's taking its sweet time and it's making my computer chug because it makes things chug. Now I'm going to have to download that Prusa slicer now. Let's go to app plus Logitech and I'm going to change the app. Sources. I'm going to change the app to Simplify 3D. There we go. Now you can see Simplify 3D. Okay. And that object on there, that is a sink dishwasher air gap overflow ramp, which right now I don't need because I printed it out and put it on my sink already. So let's delete it. I'm going to go to my Finder and I'm going to, is that the only one I have open in Finder? Hang on guys. Yeah, that's the only one I have open and I don't need that at the moment. This is where I record my stuff. Let's go to, I know you can't see this, so be cool. Don Archer. Oh my God. How you doing, Don Archer? God, it's been, what, 35 years? I went to high school with Don Archer. Don probably remembers my noisy car, especially since it only worked a couple of times that I could bring it to school. All right. It was a dumb color, too. Wasn't great. Don, I'm doing fine. How you doing, Donnie? Doing all right? I'm still alive. Clearly you are as well. I gotta go to, I gotta go to Dropbox, and I gotta go to this, and I gotta go to this, and I gotta go to that, and this is like 8 menus deep into my Dropbox. So let's drag and drop the 2020-04 April STL, and there it is. Very nice. Now, of course, I don't want it to print there. I want it to print on this side, so we need to rotate it. And we are going to rotate it in the X direction, minus 90 degrees. And I'm going to drop it on the plate, and there we have it. So this is going to be the test print. I'm pretty sure it's going to print just fine. So we'll zoom. I'm going to zoom in here, and we'll show you how this works. Which process do I have on here? Oh, right, this isn't the right process. I need to go prepare to print. I'm going to do it with this. Yeah, that's not the right process. Let's exit preview mode. Let's go to edit process settings, and I need to load my Ender 3. Right, is that all I've got? Yeah. Ender 3. Yes, that is, interesting. I thought I had saved that, but maybe I didn't. So now I need to go through and check all this out. Now, retraction distance needs to be 8. Retraction speed needs to be 25. Needs no restart distance. Needs no wipe distance. Yeah, now I had a thing that I set up for this. I want to buy a 3D printer sometime. Mark, they're cheap. I bought this thing called the Longer 3D LK4, and it was on sale, so I got it for less than $200, and I know you can afford that. Additions, we go to the skirt. That's fine. Infill 12%, very good. Support, no. Temperature, heated bed, no. This, right, for PLA, it's got to be 60. Good. Primary extruder, we're going to remove that set point. We're going to add another one here. Most of my PLA seems to print best at 215, so we're going to add that set point. You probably can't see this, right? Yeah, no, you can't see the dialog box. I'm sorry. Cooling, the fan turns on there. Good. G-code script. Speed, default printing speed 60. Yep. Unsupported area, that all looks good. Advance, that all looks good. Only retract right and force between layers. Okay. That is all approximately where I want it. So I'm going to save as new, and this is going to be CE3 PLA 160. And I need to save that, right? Because I don't have the other one now. CE3 PLA 160. We'll say, okay, 160 micrometers. Yeah, 3D printers have gotten so super duper cheap. Oh, let's see. I think last time we saw you, and Eugene were walking in Gay's Shop and Save in Machias. Yes, we did. Just so everybody knows, Gay's Shop and Save, that's the family last name. We actually, Frank Gay was the dad. We went to school with Lois Gay, his daughter, and they own the Shop and Save, which is now a Hannaford. I don't even know if they own it anymore. Who knows? Yeah, oh boy, a long time ago, man. Pushing 40 years now. Oh gosh. Oh. I know Gene is still in Machias. I haven't talked to Gene directly in quite a while. Texted with him a few times. So let's prepare to print. And it should slice this pretty quickly. Yep, just like that. Ba-doom. And let's look at this to make sure it's going to print okay. You can, interestingly, scroll through the layers and see how it's going to print. I'm a little worried about the side bit thruster ports because those pieces might not have enough footprint to stick. I may have to shrink the thruster port, but I'm still going to go ahead and print it like this and see how that works. So that all looks good, and it should not need support anywhere. One of the things I do when I design these is I try to design them so they don't need support at all, so I can just pop them off the bed and throw them in a long hair trench coat. Yeah, okay, so that was probably 1989 or so. That sounds like, because I know the trench coat you're talking about. It's the only time I ever had a long trench coat. It was like a black denim trench coat, strangely enough. And I was a long-haired rocker dude. So, all right, so let's save the tool paths to disk. And put that back into... I gotta go through the whole thing again. Dropbox, there... Spaceship Club 2020 April, and drop it in. And that is good. Well, Don, where are you at now? You still in Machias? I hope not. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I know a lot of people love it, and it is actually a nice place, especially in the summertime. Kind of grungy in the wintertime. Yeah, now I'm in California. I live in LA now, Don. So Don says I lived in New Jersey. Yeah, that was when I was still playing guitar in rock bands and stuff. So we've got that. Let me go look and see. Make sure the G code has rendered. It has. It's 6 megabytes, which is great. That's tiny. Now I'm gonna put my no, I never lived in Boston. Oh, you're in Boston. Okay, sweet. Yeah, Boston's cool. I like Boston. Hope you're doing something fun and cool there. And I hope you're staying indoors, staying safe, everybody. Oh man, it's been forever since last time I was in Boston. My wife and I, before we got married, we went to the East Coast so she could meet my parents and everybody. So we went there. I think it was 2000. I want to say 2009. We went in like June, and we went to New Jersey first, and we went to New York, and then we got on the train in New York and took it to Boston, and then we rented a car in Boston. We drove all the way up to Machias. And so that was cool. All right, so I'm done with Simplify 3D. I'm going to go back to, let's change the app once again back to ZBrush. Oh, did I hide ZBrush? Oh. Wow, yeah, it's not showing ZBrush in the list, so I must have hidden it. So ZBrush, there we go, and let's try again. It's not giving me the option to go to ZBrush. I don't understand. Well, go to my Patreon page. There's the Patreon page. And there's ZBrush. Okay, popped up in the list. So ZBrush. Dink. And okay. All right. So this is effectively finished. I mean, all I really need to do is I need to run a test print, obviously. Why isn't that working? No. Probably that. There we go. All right, so yeah, I got to do a test print. I will probably not do that today because my printer is currently printing face shield frames for PPE for medical people. So I've been trying to do that. I got a roll of PETG filament, which is pretty cool stuff, actually. I may do some spaceships with it in the future. I'm not going to do it with it this time. Actually, you know, I can print the test print in PETG, but I don't think that would be helpful. I need to do it in PLA. So, all right, 1022. 3D printed platypus from Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. Well, that's probably possible, Mark. Maybe. I could always ask them. I follow those guys on Twitter. I could ask them about that. Let me. You're not going to see me do this, but let me go look and see what that looks like. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw platypus. They have a ship called a platypus, huh? The platypus, officially known as the Pathfinder Plus. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that doesn't even look too complicated. I wonder if someone's already done it. Yes, the artist on that project is one of our friends. So yeah, I'll ask. I'll see what they say. Yeah, that would be fun. Give away 20 copies of it or something like that. I will talk to them. That's a good idea, Mark. I will talk to them. So, yeah, he's a Patreon backer. So, I will talk to them. Funky looking ship. Let's go to Cintiq and Logitech transition. All right, so this is the platypus. That's funny. True successor to Privateer, yes. So I've heard, and of course, I've never had any. I don't have any time to play any of these games because they're the kind of games that suck your brain in and steal you. Like you guys know, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, right? I've never played Star Trek Online because if I ever do, you will never see me again. I will captain my starship and it will be it, and I will be homeless with my computer plugged in somewhere playing STO. Same with the Star Wars Online massive MMO game, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, any of those games, like any big MMO. I just can't do it. I will lose myself in the game, or I will only play 10 minutes every couple of weeks, and I'll suck so bad that it'll be embarrassing, and I don't want that to happen. All right, but anyway, yeah, no, that's cool. I'll talk to those guys and see if we can make that happen. Ooh, excuse me. You made a Lego model of it? Did you put it up somewhere where they could see it? Because I bet they'd get a kick out of that. All right, so, gosh, guys, it's 10:30, and I really don't know what to do next. I don't have. Sadly, I have not been able to prepare plans for things. I do have to finish. I have to ink today's spaceship here. I'll switch over to the FaceTime cam for a moment. Transition. Right. Okay. So here's the ships for the rest of the week. Spoilers. I'm not going to show them all to you, but today's ship, I have to ink that and put it up. Oh, you did. Okay, great, awesome. Sure they love that. Here's a question, guys. Do you think a Discord server would be something that you'd want to do with Starshipwright? What value what would I be able to do with a Discord server on Starshipwright? I really don't know. I'm still behind the curve on a lot of this stuff. I just ordered a green screen so I can put an actual background behind this. Put some spaceships flying through and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. What extra value could I offer with a Discord on this? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, either here in the chat, or you can email them to me, or put them on the Patreon or whatever. Oh, I want to say welcome to my new patrons. I got a bunch of new patrons that came in from the pledge drive, and that's great. Eric and Brian and Chris and Miros. I think that's it. Let me look. I'm actually I'm gonna. Oh, you can't see it. So okay, good. I will go to patrons and manager, and let's talk about that. Let's see, who is our newest ones? Let's see. Last charge. Yeah, that's not doing a lot of help for me. So yeah, Eric and Elon, and who else? And we got a bunch of people here that I'm not sure of. Mark's been with us for a while. Miros, yeah, new one. Is it Paul? No. Oh yeah, let's sort them by that and see what happens. No, other way. Right, Brian and Chris and Eric and Josh and Miros and the Goose, the Space Goose. Yep, and another Eric. We got two Erics, Eric with a C and Eric with a K. Let's see. You guys could try to build an art community, get people drawing, channel for art, another for spaceship, that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not familiar enough with Discord to know how to do this stuff. So maybe we should talk offline. All right. So yes, thank you for new patrons. Real happy about that. Thank you so much. And how many spaceships do I have to ship out this month? Let's look. Ooh, I have an international. Wait, who's international? Oh, Simon, right. Oh, Simon. For some reason, Simon is on here. Oh, because I didn't send him a March. Right. Never mind. Never mind, Simon. I got it. 17. I got to send out 17 this month. Very cool. That makes me happy. I have a list of really wonderful people to send things to. Okay, so I was talking with Kevin last week, Kevin Toft, after the show, and talking about making model kits. I am making a model kit. I don't want to reveal it to everyone yet, but it's going to be about that big, roughly. And it will be a combination of 3D printed and molded and cast parts. The exterior skin will probably mostly be molded cast in resin, like this spaceship here. And then the interior, there's going to be an interior frame for it to build that on. So it won't be like a regular styrene model. It will have an interior structure that the outer skin sticks on. Most of the styrene models, it's just the outer skin. They're a hollow plastic tube. I don't think I can get parts precise enough to do that, to make a hollow body. I was trying to do that with this. This is a 40mm sphere broken up into hexagons and pentagons like a geodesic dome. And this is really fiddly. I made the other one, and I printed out 2 sets of this and made another one. So I don't think I can accurately do the exterior as one hollow thing. So I'm going to make a frame, and then we're going to be putting other things on it. And this particular ship that I'm doing is round. It's not the Death Star. It's round in its shape, generally. So I'm going to have basically strips of pieces about that big with just enough curvature that I can mold and cast it. And that's going to go on. The outside of it, it's going to be nice and smooth because it's a resin print. I'm going to have them polished down real nice. I will be printing, do I have a resin print of any? Yeah. I'll be printing the skin pieces on my little longer orange resin printer, which printed this ship very smoothly, very nicely. And then I will make molds and cast them like I've been doing with the white part and the blue part of this ship. So that'll be something that that you can get and you can put it together. It's not going to be super cheap. It's going to be probably $125 for that kit because I'm making a small. I'm putting a lot of time into making it, and usually with a garage kit like that, people will run maybe 25 or 50 copies of the kit. I'm going to be able to do more than that, because I have happily, in the process of making this, kind of perfected a process for making molds. I don't have one floating around here. I'd have to go get it. This is part of one. This is a partial that was incorrect, and I had to pop the thing out of it. But this is a 3D printed mold box that has a positive in here, as if I had printed out the ship, right? This box, wait a minute, is it over here? No, I guess it isn't. I thought it was here. Okay, it must be over on the other table. Anyway, sorry. This box was printed on my filament printer, and then the positive master of half the object, in this case it was the key tag that I'm making, gets inserted into that. Now, because I can do this, this is how I will be making all of the resin, the mold and cast parts for the spaceship, and I can make them. I can make multiples of them in one mold box, even. So each part will have, kind of a box like this with at least one, maybe 2 or 3 copies of it, and then this makes the silicone mold. This is not the thing that you pour the final stuff into. You make the silicone mold with this, and that means I can make an identical mold over and over and over again. which makes it real easy to make a whole bunch of these. With this, I have 6 identical molds of that white part, and I have 25 identical molds of the blue part. So all I got to do is fill those things up and do them. And I am still in the process of making these, so I'm going to make a video. I'm like, actually I should film some of that today. I'll make a video about how I make these ships and edit that together at the end of it, so that when we sell it, I can, when Howard ships these out, I can say, here's the making of this fun ship, and we'll go from there. So that's going to make it easier for me to make this kit. And unlike most garage kits where they do 25 or 50 pulls of the molds for it, because it's really difficult to make a bunch of parts. It's very time consuming to make a bunch of parts and then clay them up and then mold them together. Instead of doing that, I've got these mold boxes that have the parts integral to them, and I just can pour the silicone in and make a new mold. So after I do 25 or 30 pulls off a mold, I can replace the mold, the silicone mold, completely in less than an hour. Or maybe, it's got to cure overnight. So in a day, I can have a brand new fresh mold that I can do this in. So what that does is it makes it so I don't have to do the garage kit as a run where, I'm going to be putting all this time and energy into it and I need the money back right away. I can actually create the kits at any time. So I might run 25 or 30 at first, and then make a new set of molds, and then anytime anybody wants one of these things, they can just buy it. I may actually wind up Kickstartering the whole thing at some point, but I'm going to do the thing anyway beforehand. Let's see what else is going on. I'm still working on this. Still destroying things. I'm still working on this painting. I got to finish this painting. I got to finish these spaceships first. My priorities right now are these spaceships and another concept job that I'm doing. I got to finish those first, and then I'll get back to doing these paintings. I'm sure you've probably all seen them already, but here's my Viper sketch card, original Battlestar Viper sketch card. Here's my Space 1999 Eagle drawing. Here's my Rocinante from The Expanse watercolor painting, and my gouache of the Millennium Falcon, which I've put together. These are all for sale. I'm going to make a whole bunch more of these. I've got commissions open. If you want a spaceship, one of our patrons during the pledge drive bought the $250 gold membership. Thank you so much. You know who you are. Is getting a small a marker painting like this of the Liberator from Blake 7, the British sci-fi show. So I'll be working on that as soon as I get done with these other things. Beyond that, I don't really have a lot of news, man. We're all just kind of sitting around our houses, wondering what's going to happen next. I've got lots of political outrage, but that's not for this. That's not for this channel. Next month's spaceship is still just a sketch in my sketchbook. The spaceship started as a sketch in my notebook. Here's your rough for it right there. It's kind of reminiscent. I don't know if you guys ever watched Jason of Star Command. If you did, awesome, you know what this is. It's similar to the fighters that, what's his name? Draco, the bad guy. Sid Haig was the bad guy. So great. Such a fun actor, that guy. Recently lost to us from old age. Yeah. But it's kind of like the fighters, the bad guy fighters from Jason of Star Command, and I think they appeared in Space Academy too. It's pretty funny. That show is kind of cool because they actually, even though it was a very low budget show, they were making it at the same time as people were making Star Wars movies. So they actually had the modelers who were making the models for Star Wars were like right down the street from the place where they were making the show. So they went down there and said, "Hey, can you guys build us some spaceship models?" And they did. So there were some, actual, Star Wars pro spaceship modeler guys that built the models for that show. Okay. I don't think I have a lot left for you. And let's see, there's only 3 of you left, I see. Okay, well, that's cool. 3 of my buds sticking in here with me. Thank you. So I guess I'm going to get going. I don't want to go through the process of setting up another camera so I can draw things and you can see it right now, because it would probably it'll take me about 10 minutes to rearrange my stuff here to make that happen. I will eventually have a permanent overhead mount camera, or at least a permanent thing to put my iPhone into. Right now I'm using this microphone stand. A permanent thing to put my iPhone into that will be looking down in a way that I can draw stuff with. I thought I did that in one of my live streams. I think I did one of the previous ones earlier this year. So yeah, stick around. I'm making new things. I'm making better things. I'm going to make this thing better. It's going to be a lot more fun once I've got the green screen behind me. I'm gonna have to be careful with the green screen because I got these 2 different camera angles. I guess I could put this camera over here and point it at me, and yeah, that's probably better to put it there. Gotta get some double stick. Put it there so that I can look up a little more easily and you can see me, and the background will be behind both of these cameras. So I think this angle is better. Let's go back to that and transition. I think this angle here is probably better, so I can have the backdrop behind me. I'm touching my head. Wait, can I do this? I'm squishing my head. I'm crushing it. I'm squishing my head. I'm crushing my skull. Squish my head. Okay. I'm done stealing from the kids in the hall now. All right, everybody, thank you for coming. I'm going to end just a little bit early because I just really don't have anything I can show you at the moment. And I need to do more spaceship hulls, and I need to set up a camera to record me doing more spaceship hulls, and that's going to be lots of fun. All right, so thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week. I will let you know what time it's going to be. It's probably, here, let's switch back to the other camera. Why not? It's probably going to be 10 o'clock. So I'm not going to change the day, but I am going to change the hour. Let's assume it's going to be 10 o'clock PDT, which is, what is that now? 1800 UTC, I think, right? No, we are GMT -8. So you add 8 to 10. Yeah, okay, no, 6 p.m. Yes, 1800 UTC for my non-American types. So yeah, next week, same day, probably different time. I'm going to guess 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Alrighty, so see you next week. Thanks for joining us, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Bye.